Hi there. My name is Avil Beckford, and this is the latest episode of the One Problem podcast interview. My guests come on, they present a problem, and they have 6 minutes to offer a solution. And that's a way for us to learn from each other. Most of the time, the people who come on, I have some sort of relationship with them. And that's the case with my guest today. I met her on LinkedIn. She talks a lot about mindset, and I learn from her every day. So today, my very special guest is Debbie McKiver, and she's the founder of the Strong and Healthy Temple. Over to you, Debbie.
Thank you, Abel. I wanted to talk about shifting your mindset for effortless manifestation. And a lot of times we decide on things that we want to manifest. And the reason that we cannot manifest those things is because we're trying to manifest them. And when I say trying, I mean that we are trying to make it happen. We're putting forth an effort to make it happen in our own strength. And I noticed this in my own life. How this came up for me was I unsealed an envelope of a list that I had made for things that I wanted to manifest in 2021. And I made that list during the height of the pandemic. And when I opened up the list on last week, none of those things had come to fruition. And in hindsight, I realized that I had written that list from a place of desperation. I didn't believe anything that I had written down. And the way that you successfully and effortlessly manifest is by following 3 steps naturally. The first thing that you have to do is you have to decide. You always have to make a decision on what it is that you want. And the second thing that you have to do is that you have to believe with conviction. You can't just go through the motions. You really have to believe what it is that you've decided on. Believe that that thing can come to pass. The third step is probably the hardest step, and that is to surrender or flow. And by surrendering and allowing things to flow, it is to surrender to the thing that you believe in and not try to force it to happen. Because by trying to force it to happen, what you do is that you repel the thing that you're trying to attract. It's kind of like when you go for a job interview and you're trying too hard, you end up blundering the interview. Or when you have, if it's a person that has a crush on someone and they're coming on too strong, what you do is that you turn that person off. So by surrendering, you take the how out of the box, because a lot of times what we're doing is we're wondering how it's going to happen. And that's the reason why we're trying to force it to happen. When you just surrender to the unknown and just allow it to flow and take only divine and inspired action, that's when it happens naturally. And when I look back in my own life of things that have actually come to fruition for me, it was those times where I wasn't trying to make it happen, where I just decided, I believed that it was already coming to pass, and then I just let go of it. I didn't worry about how. I didn't put the how into a box saying, you know, if I want to be wealthy, the only way I can be wealthy is through the lottery, and then go out and buy, you know, thousands of tickets and still not win. And so we just have to surrender to whatever it is that we want to come to pass. Back over to you, Avil.
You know something, this resonates so much with me because I've experienced it many times in my life. And part of the problem is that control issue, trying to control things that you have no control over. So I have a seed control, but the other thing that has hampered me is the having the faith and believing. Because even though I take action, there's always this little voice in the back of my head that's saying, do you really think this is going to happen? And that's a stumbling block. So I think that a lot of people will be able to resonate with this one. So thank you so much for what you had to say.
Thank you so much for having me.